Well, hello, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls. This is McCoy welcoming you back to BLT Podcast. I am joined by this woman.
Pokeair 2004 here, totally not playing Minesweeper.
And I'm not totally stalling because it is time to end the regular season of BLT by presenting you all Week 7 recap. Week 7. Kind of a mid-week, to be honest.
It was a week of all time.
No, you don't have to keep saying that, but it's true. It is kind of a week of all time. But, you know, it is kind of a calm down week. A lot of teams are kind of memeing at this point. A lot of players have been kind of, they've been chilling because most of the teams have already been qualified in the playoffs. We already really decided one team who will be making the grand final playoffs.
I think you mean most teams already know whether they qualify for playoffs or if they're out.
So yeah, it's been kind of a calm week for most of the playing field. And we've decided the 4 teams that will go on to the grand final playoffs, as I called. Anyway, let's get started, shall we, on the recap before we end things off.
Yes.
First off, we got the Phantom Trout losing to the Lavender Lapresses. The first loss of the Phantom Trout, and the second win of the Lapresses, I believe.
Yeah, if their first lost, and it was to Team LCAP.
And how fitting, LCAP was also in the lineup in the weeks the Lapresses won, so... Miss Minesweeping Pokeart, let's now review some games.
Okay.
First off, SBOU, we got Botsy losing to the aforementioned LCAP KD. Oh, this game was an interesting one. LCAP started off decently, I'd say, poisoning Alamamola and heal blocking Amoonguss with Psychic Noise before killing it with Primarina. Also, Botsy brought somewhat stall as a courtesy choice against LCAP's reliable old cheese.
Yeah, that's just stall, Mikoy. That's not somewhat, that's just stall.
Well, it's bulky stall against LCAP's reliable ass cheese.
That's what stall is!
I know. I have to reiterate for the theatrics.
No, you don't.
Well, Zamazenta was pretty well neutered by Botsy, knocking off its leftovers as LCAP tried setting up, and chipping it with Skeledirge with Will-O-Wisp and Torch Song before outstalling with pivoting and switching constantly before dying to burn. And it seemed Botsy was going to win with this stall team. Terrifier Mandibuzz tanking hits from Gouging Fire very well and setting up Iron Defense against Roaring Moon. However, turn 42 saw Birdie nasty looking crit. The Roaring Moon sets up Dragon Dance, and you got the Iron Defense from Mandibuzz right there. You go. Turn 42 happens. The Roaring Moon uses Terra Flying. The Roaring Moon uses Acrobatics and crit kills the Mandibuzz to a certain death.
You said that was turn 42, right?
Which is the final turn in this game. Literally the final turn.
Interesting. It's interesting to me that you didn't mention LCAP's Primarina even once, even though it was the very clear MVP of this game.
I did say it was doing a lot of heal blocking on Amoonguss.
That's not even close to all it was doing. What are you talking about?
Well, you explain what the Primarina did, because I wasn't particularly...
I don't need to explain it. You can see what it did. First, it killed the Amoonguss. Let's see.
It threw a crit as well on the first 2 turns.
It killed the Alomomola.
It's a very notable kill, I guess. Despite being,
It killed the Skeledirge. It killed the Garganical.
Despite being toxic. And this is all despite being badly poisoned.
So yeah, I think you kind of forget that the Primarina got 4 out of 5 kills here.
Which is good. Well preserved the Primarina very well, and, despite being toxic, still managed to claim most of the kills. So good on Elcap for preserving that for the final time before dying to poison. Otherwise, that crit really cost Botsy. Could have maybe reverse sweep if given the chance, but El Cap is known for being the Hex Lord, so you gotta at least expect that. Yeah, you don't have to. Yeah, you just gotta expect crits to happen. They just don't naturally happen. You just gotta expect them now. Says that to a player who's been playing for 20 years. Anyway, next up, the other SVOU game. We got Alpha 1013 making his debut and losing against Thiago Nunes. Fairly short game.
Thiago brought a bit of a weird team, not gonna lie. I don't know if you noticed.
The Teng Lu and the Ogrepon. Not necessarily weird mons that he brought. It's just the sets he brought are pretty interesting.
Yeah, I wasn't talking about the mons. I was talking about the sets.
Anyway, we got to see the Great Tusk beating the Terra Ghost Glamora, then Goldango beating Darkrai with Make It Rain. So fairly standard for the most part, at least in the beginning.
Yeah, that was a Scarf Goldango, you should mention.
A Scarf Goldango. I forgot to mention that. That's beating the Darkrai. Deoxys brought Colbur Berry against Darkrai's Dark Pulse on turn 9, tanking a hit, but then couldn't do anything against Skarmory as it tried Nasty Plot Psycho Boosting to try to kill it, to no avail.
Colbur Berry on Deoxys is, to my knowledge, uncommon.
Very uncommon.
Most people run stuff like Life Orb or Sash or Boots or, I don't know, but it's usually not Colbur Berry.
Especially against a Darkrai. Especially against, I didn't expect it to tank a hit. Especially because it's Deoxys Speed, which is known for being frail.
And I think you should also point out that when it was revealed to be Colbur Berry, the Darkrai moved before it.
Which means...
Yes, it's also Scarf.
Thiago Nunes really brought 2 Scarf users in his team.
Yes, he did. And it actually worked out.
It did work out. Anyway, the Deoxys couldn't kill the Skarmory. After setting up Iron Defense, Skarmory then took out Dragon Dance Kyurem with Body Press at turn 20, netting the win for Thiago Nunes.
Gotta wonder, though, is there a reason Alpha Psycho boosted on a Darkrai?
No idea. Maybe he wanted to catch a switch. Maybe he wanted to try to predict some sort of attack. I don't know. I don't know why. Maybe it was something.
Yeah, because we don't even know if that thing was running a fighting move. We never got to see it use one.
No. But yeah, good win for Thiago Nunes. At least he came away with a win to close out his season.
Yep. Next
up, SV Ubers. We got 7992 defeating Prince of All Tacos. Poet started off well, using Trick Room and Safeguard Cresselia as a reliable lead, and Crit Oko.
Not that Safeguard really did anything long run.
No, it didn't, but, it was just nice to have, I guess. It was a reliable lead. Crit Okoing Arceus Water with Facade Ursaluna on turn 5, as you see right here. And, after a turn set up, he went ahead and tried to Trick Room again against a Gliscor setting out that nicely. After that turn of setup, Pote continued the momentum with Ursaluna, or after the Misty Explosion, of course. Ursaluna killing Blissey and Cresselia using Ice Beam against Gliscor, with 7U only using Dash Button to roar out a potentially dangerous Calyrex. And 7U's Ho-Oh kind of kept him in the game, as it whirlwinded Terrafire Necrozma and burned Calyrex through Sacred Fire, whilst outstalling it to let it die to burn. Which is very nice, very nicely played. Game ended up was really close. It came down to the wire here towards the end of the game. Terrasteel Clodsire losing to Ursaluna, while Gliscor managed to Toxic Necrozma as it sets up Trick Room, coming down to Ho-Oh, managing to outstall the Trick Room turns to beat both of Pote's remaining Mons with Brave Bird.
Yeah, I gotta say, this could have easily gone to Pote.
Yes.
Had he just, maybe played it a little better?
I mean, he could have played it a little better, but then again, his Mons were kind of in the low health range, and against his healthy I don't think he stood a chance. So yeah, 7U92 picking up a nice win. Very, very well-deserved play there. Very nice. Next up, SVUU. Oh boy. This one's a really, really, really unlucky game. We got Polo Ariosto beating Just Franco.
Well, I do agree that that Franco got pretty damn unlucky this game. I'm not sure how much it mattered, actually, because Polo played this game quite well.
He did play it quite well. He was keeping up with the pace of Franco, although he did have the advantage with the ton of hacks that happened in this game. So, first of all, the early unluck really began on turn 9 with Tinkaton missing a Thunder Wave on Cobalion, getting chipped to half health before knocking off its leftovers. You know, that was the early signs. Polo brought Terrasteel Rotom, which its Nasty Plot and Stored Power strat obliterated Hydrapple in turn 22, and after getting tricked by Hoopa on turn 23, dodged another 2 Thunder Waves from Tinkaton, despite Terra Grounding. There's the Nasty Plot. You never see Wash Rotom carry Nasty Plot Stored Power, do you?
No, but this is a very unique Rotom set, and I think it's specifically built to counter Hydrapple.
It is 100% destined to counter any Hydrapple set. As you can see, there's the Tinkaton.
We found it, boys. We found the Hydrapple counter.
We did it. Now Hydrapple can stay in this tier. Yeah, so there's the Tinkaton there. It kept missing the Rotom with Thunder Wave, which is really unfortunate. The momentum was lost there, and it really kept on in turn 34 when he missed another, potentially. The Cobalion switches in. Tinkaton misses another Thunder Wave to Cobalion. More momentum being lost on Franco's side. He even counted, as he said in the chat, 4 misses of Thunder Wave at that point. And then, yeah, Ogerpon just kind of carried Polo through the rest of the game, taunting, Slowking, and despite being burned by the Scald, still managed to beat it and Tinkaton before dying to Suicune, and who then was killed by Cobalion for the win, through a crit. Any other thoughts?
Well, I think we should just talk more about how well Polo played. He called doubles and switches. He pivoted out a lot. But also well. and he got good reads, like when he knocked off the Volabai's boots and
Yeah, the second half
other
was
things.
really Polo. After that Hoxie affair, Polo really started to carry himself, and yeah, his play started getting better in the second half of this game because he got that momentum boost off of the hacks, and yeah, the rest of the game Franco really couldn't do anything. Polo just kind of carried. So yeah, that was that game. Any other thoughts?
Well, while Polo did get lucky, in general, he just played that very well, and he probably could have won.
Regardless.
He probably could have won, regardless, assuming he didn't get para-haxed and all the paras actually hit.
Yeah, I mean, he's proving himself to be a decently competent player, and to stand up well to Franco is a very good shout. Very good shout. Someone on the level of Franco, at least. Next up, we got SVRU. High naming is hard, losing to Sasha. So this.
I just want to say I wasn't wrong to predict for high naming is hard. He got hacks to shiz.
He did. He really did. So he started off well though. Thunderous beat the Terrakion and tanked the Yon Mega's Terra Blast to Oko it with Volt Switch. I gotta say, the Terra Blast Yon Mega is a pretty cool strat, but failed to kill it.
What do you mean it's a pretty cool strat?
Sorry, it's a common strat, but I am impressed in seeing Yon Mega perform well.
It didn't do anything this game. What are you talking about?
It did chip Thunderous. 38%.
That's not doing something.
People should bring more
unique
mons like Yon Mega.
Why are you impressed by you just using a plain old Terra Blast without it terraing? That doesn't do much.
I'm overhyping the fact that people should bring Yon Mega more. It could be a good sweeper. It just wasn't proven here.
Nikoi, do you know how many people brought Yon Mega in months past?
Yes, bring him more. Bring more of that.
No, I'm personally happy that thing has dropped in usage. I don't like it.
Bring it more. Bring it more. Make it the Mega Sweeper again. Alright. Sasha's Basque Legion then dodged Cyclozar's Draco Meteor and Thunderous's Thunder Wave, allowing him to set up agility and kill the latter with Ice Beam, leading to another miss. This time to Dragalge doing Draco Meteor. On turn 12. Azelf then carried Sasha throughout the remainder of the game, critting Armourouge before killing it, then Terra Fairying to be immune to Cyclozar, then dishing out huge psychic damage, killing Cobalion and Dragalge for Sasha to take the win. Any other thoughts?
Just that, no, I think I already stated what needed to be said.
Yes, he got unlucky. Yes, I naming is hard really got unlucky. Then that...
Between the misses and, more misses.
Sasha
What else was there?
The misses and the misses and the misses.
Oh wait, the psychic crit on Armourouge, that was really bad.
Oh yeah, that also kind of mattered. But hey, Sasha was in the complete advantage at that point, and he proved it even more. Next up, SVNU.
Sasha didn't even play that well.
Yeah, he got lucky with even his endgame, you feel?
What? No, I meant the game.
Okay. SVNU. Stories versus Swine Up Fan. You groan at the sight of this game.
I don't groan, I don't think I have words for it.
I groaned. Well, the game started off strong with Stories dispatching Regigigas with Bombardier. Meanwhile, Charm destroyed Sarina with Regirock, paralyzing it with Thunderwave, and Crit body pressing and Rock Blast to kill the Sarina. Then we saw a pretty cool little set involving Registeel. Terra Ghost for once. And then, it's the Iron Defense, Amnesia, Body Press, Rest, making its return.
What gen is this? Gen 8?
Making its return once again after falling quite the usage off from last year's BLT. Finally making a return to this year's BLT and doing incredibly well. The friggin' Body Press beating it tried body pressing against the Slowbro. And then it got critted. And after turns of setup of Calm Minds, turn 23, Amnesia went up, and then it got crit killed to a Scald.
Yep.
Lol. After failing to explode kill it with Golem and successfully paralyzing it with Zap Cannon Regice, again, Charm. Again, Team Charm just bringing all the memes in this one. Slowbro carried Stories to a good win for the rest of the game, even beating the Belly Drum, Slowbro Galar.
Yeah, well, there was no winning at that point unless he got a para, and even then, I don't think he was winning at that point.
He was paralyzed. And he still lost. Next up, SVPU. We got Drip Legend beating Big Tony. Finally getting a win, says Drip Legend. And he did.
Well, damn, I guess Big Tony ain't all that, huh?
He ain't big, and the year is wrong. It's 10 years too late. So, Drip brought Macho and played it well. What else can I say? Tony did get the early lead.
He brought what and played it well? HO.
Tony did get the early lead. Florges beat Frostless, and Terra Steel Slowbro tanked Toxtricity's Boom Burst to OHKO it with Earthquake. Drip kind of struggled a bit with Heracross, beating Slowbro only with Close Combat, but only managing to chip Florges before it died. Minior setting up the Shell Smash and tried to use the Power Meteor Beam strat. It beat Florges, but it only majorly chipped Gastrodon heavily. After Decidueye died, Terranormal Screamtail brought it back for Drip. Setting up Calm Mind against Nasty Plotting Rotom and Boom Bursting the rest of Tony's Mons, going for the sweep, and Drip just won. Screamtail, Booster Energy, setting up the Calm Mind, Terranormaling, Boom Bursting, even beating the Wochien, and won.
Yeah, I think Drip won that anyway, but unfortunate Leech Seed miss.
Unfortunate Leech Seed miss, but yeah, the Drip still would have won. He got already enough boosts. Next up, LC Starzama beating Novax.
To no one's surprise.
There was Vullaby Wars at the start of this game. Novax's Vullaby actually got the better of Starzama, Brave Birding and taking itself out with it in turn 4.
Yeah, but that Starzama did not care about that. You wanna know why?
Why not? Why?
With that Volibear, he got Glimmet on red, and he managed to take out Novax's Volibear, even though he didn't actually do the killing and it killed itself. That is still a good trade.
That is a very good trade. You still got managed
low health Glimmet and Volibear gone for only the cost of Volibear.
That is good. That is very good trade-off. Starzema then got the better of itself. For the remainder of this game, Starzema kind of got the better end of this game. Using Gothita to outstall the Terra Psychic Torchic substitute Terra Blast Life Orb strat. Very unique set for Torchic. Although in the terms of LC, I don't
Not
think
really.
I don't.
Actually.
That's what I was gonna say. Not a lot of people bring it, but we have seen the Psychic Torchic a bit, and it's very good. It is very good in LC. And used Shelter to break through its sub through a crit Rock Blast to eventually kill it. As you can see, the Terra Blast, Rock Blast, crit through the sub and beating Torchic very, very well there. And Voltorb Basui just kind of carried Starzema for the rest of the game, killing Mudbray, then Terrafiring to kill Meanfu and Novax's own Voltorb Basui to win the game.
You say Torchic's good in LC, but like, if it really is, then I think it would be used more.
No one uses it because no one knows how to use it.
No, it's just not super good.
Well, with Life Orb and the sub, maybe someday.
Yeah, but like it can't set up, so
it's
usually it can't sweep.
Because it's Fearless Frick, I know.
No, because it doesn't hit hard enough on its own.
Thank you, Life Orb.
No, not even with Life Orb. It can't set up, so with Life Orb, that's the most it can hit.
Damn you, Fire Chick. Alright. SVDOU. Aragon versus SMB. And SMB won. To me, no one's surprised, but he brought some interesting tech. I kind of like the tech.
Yes, he did.
I
like the tech too.
I like the team. I like the overall team SMB brought. It's very him. It's very him to build this. Also, but credit to Aragon though, bringing Wochien and Hisui and Gudra to friggin' doubles.
They both brought interesting teams.
Well, I like the tech in SMB more because he started off with Terra Blast, Terra Flying Tyranitar, denting Wochien and letting it die to Orthworm's Iron Defense Body Press later on. And then we saw this, the Ting-Lu Orthworm strat. Ting-Lu has Earthquake, Orthworm has Earth Eater. And that is free Earthquakes.
Yep.
Which, you know...
And Orthworm's like, yummy.
And got to heal a lot, and got to set up Iron Defense a lot. And Ting-Lu got to do a lot of damage, beating the Hisuian Gudra and the Raging Bolt. While Orthworm just sits there and sets up a lot. Incineroar and Tornadus.
And you know, not only that, but you know what else Orthworm is good for?
Orthworm is good at what?
Lando Wall.
That is a good Lando Wall. It just...
Lando usually just runs Sludge Bomb and Earth Power. And Orthworm's immune to both of those.
Orthworm being immune to both really helps. And, you know, despite the Terror Poison on Aragon's side, it couldn't do anything because the Orthworm is just there, sitting there, ready to tank hits and ready to dish out body press damage. Oh, Aragon couldn't do anything. SMB took that win.
Yep. Once the Earthworm and Tinglu came out, they stayed there the entire game and he won.
Yeah, I wonder if well, I hope that gets used a lot. A good way for SMB to end the freaking his season off with a good win. SV Monotype, Rafna defeating Jojo Wee.
Ha!
Damn it. After a lot of evenly paced couple of turns, it was Flying versus Dragon. Rafna tried to play around against Hazard Stack by having Latias trick into heavy duty boots and using Hydreigon sub against Landorus, netting the kill on turn 16 before dying to a Bleakwind Storm. Kyurem then tried to threaten Jojo by coming into the field, but consistently switching out, meaning it got chipped further and further, only managing to kill Skarmory and Corviknight, with Jojo missing a Bleakwind Storm on turn 29 against the Gouging.
Is that the turn Kyurem switched out?
Yeah, the turn Kyurem switched out into Gouging Fire. Jojo had a chance, but missed the Bleakwind Storm. Very unfortunate there. It seemed, though...
I find it even more unfortunate that Rafna switched out Kyurem, because, if he hadn't switched out Kyurem there, and the Bleakwind, of course, missed, then Tornadus just died, and I think he just outright won.
Yeah, that's right. You even mentioned this before.
But in retrospect, I understand why he switched it out now.
Mm-hmm.
Because yes, if it came back in, it would die, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, if it came back in, it would die, but, well, we'll get to why he switched it out despite that later, because he used the tech.
Well, it seemed Jojo was going to outstall with Gliscor on the final few turns, killing the Archaludon, toxicking the Gouging Fire, and getting out of Draco Meteor's range by protecting. Gliscor was doing very effectively there. However, turn 46, we saw some tech. We saw some good tech. Gliscor protect. Turn 46. Gliscor protects, to try to get some of this healing back with Poison Heal. Latios used Healing Wish. Latios faints. Gliscor gets some health back thanks to Poison Heal. Dragapult comes back in and does the full health thing. And Dragon Darts poor Gliscor to death while it missed a double protect.
Yep. And now you understand why Rafna had switched out Kyurem, despite the fact it would die if it came back in.
He wanted to bring in the Healing Wish.
He was planning to Healing Wish it later.
But as soon as it died...
Or at least he wanted the option to, anyway.
Well, at least he preserved his option to Healing Wish. At least he kept that very, very well. And to his advantage, and ultimately picked up the win. Very nice.
Yeah, Dragapult lived a Dragon Tail from Gyarados on 1, which allowed it to get Healing Wished back full later.
Which was very,
even
very
if you have low enough health to die upon coming in, as long as you're alive, Healing Wish can heal you back.
Yes.
All the way.
Yep, and good win for Rafna, and that puts the Laprases in the winning column this week. Unfortunately, in the terms of the season, goodbye Lappies.
Yep, no more LCAP.
Next up, we got the Primal Power Pangoros absolutely murdering the Snowbell Stuffles. 8-2. Well,
yeah, too bad the game didn't get them in. I mean, too bad that set didn't get them into playoffs.
Technically 7-2, but we'll get to that.
What? 7-2?
Sorry,
what do you mean?
Oh, sorry, 8-2. I was thinking of another set. Alright,
I don't think any sets ended that in 7-2.
No. Anyway, next up, we have the SVOU game. We got Suzuya versus TDNT, which Suzuya won. I think this was played relatively early. It was a fairly short affair, though. Started with Deoxys Speed Wars, where both set up hazards, and TDNT's got the kill on Suzuya's. But only after the latter sets up rocks and spikes, allowed Roaring Moon to come in safely, tank a superpower, set up Dragon Dance, and beat it before losing to Zamazenta. Suzuya then pretty much matched up well for the rest of the game, using Terra Steel Zapdos' Static to paralyze Ogerpon, and Volcanion beat the Gouging Fire. Terraflying Kingambit tried to pull off the reverse sweep at the end, killing both Iron Tread's Volcanion and Zapdos. However, Zapdos' Static and Iron Valiant's Ice Punch ensured the kill on Kingambit, winning Suzuya that game. Any other thoughts?
Not really.
Good win for Suzuya. Next up, SVOU, we got Beleth versus Street Boom. Well,
which Beleth won to no one's surprise.
It was kind of a mirror match, though, when you look at the teams. They both brought...
It was not a mirror match, but they did bring the same kind of team, yes.
You got bring Torkoal, you got bring Gouging Fire, they brought Walking Wake, and they both brought Raging Bolt. They both brought a Fairy Nemon, and they both brought an Angry Beast.
See, I think Beleth brought the better version of the team, though.
No, you're right. Beleth did bring the better version of that team. And quite well, to be honest. It was a fairly short affair. Beleth outpaced Street Boom a lot, using Walking Wake as a good damage dealer under Sun, killing Hetrain and Torkoal.
Well, Street Boom couldn't really do the same with his Walking Wake for a good chunk of the match because Beleth had a Primarina.
He did, and that took some hits from the Walking Wake.
It's literally a Walking Wake wall.
the perfect Walking Wake wall. It exists. Terra Flying Kingambit tried to be useful for the second OU game in a row, beating Great Tusks. But Terra Fairy Raging Bolt put a stop to it by killing it with Dragon Pulse. Turn 18 saw Beleth's Walking Wake, I think, won the speed tie against Streets. Because,
Yeah. Nothing Street could really do about that. That wasn't a skill issue.
It wasn't a skill issue, it was just downright 50-50. Took advantage, killed the Raging Bolt, killed the Gouging Fire, Beleth took the win.
They were actually in the exact same position when that happened. They both had the same Mons left.
Which is really funny.
So, had Street Booms moved first, actually?
He would have won?
He may have, yeah. Although, Beleth did have his Terra Fairy Raging Bolt left, so hard to say.
It's hard to say. Maybe you could have, done a Hydro Steam. Probably did a lot more damage than you thought. But yeah.
I don't know what the Raging Bolt spread is, so I don't know.
So yeah, good win for Beleth. Came down to that moment, and carried himself to at least a win at the end of this season. Next up, we got Ainscrad versus FC. This one was a short but sweet match.
This may have been one of the quickest games of the week, if not the quickest.
This was played relatively after another game was being performed live, or after those two games were done, and this game just so happened to happen, and this one was just ended quick and easy.
Yeah, by the time it was linked, I think it was basically over.
Because we got some strat. Because FC set up that Miraidon very effectively. Screens Grimmsnarl, Shed Tail Earthworm, Really taking advantage of those both to have them right on setup with Electric Seed under Hadron Engine and Electric Terrain, setting up the Calm Mind, Terra Dragoning against the Iron Shreds, and then just swept Boyne's team with the Dragon Pulse and the Electro Drift, even breaking through Terra Fairy Arceus via an Oko. Anything else to say?
Not really. That's basically what happened.
Good win for FC. Next up, SVOU Jawabarat beating Hellray through an act call. So we're skipping that. SVRU Ming versus Drizzle. What was supposed to be Fiend versus Toto ended up being Drizz versus Ming.
And it's funny, I think most people predicted Fiend there, and well,
the Pangoras player
it wasn't
did win.
Fiend that played, but the Pangoras did still win that match.
Pangoras still win RU. We still win RU. I'm curious to see how Fiend and Toto would have played with these teams. But, yeah, you know, this game was what it was, and Drizz took the win. How? Let's see. Frostlass died to a burn. After that, Frostlass died to a burn from Flamethrower. Armourouge put in work against the Cyclozar, dodging its Dragon Tail attempt and crit killing it with Psyshock before being roared out by the Moltres. Roar Moltres.
I wouldn't say dodging a Dragon Tail is putting in work. That's just Ming getting unlucky.
But Roar Moltres. Roar Moltres is a thing.
Yes, it is.
Mimikyu then tanked Palossand's Shadow Ball well, despite the Spadef drop to kill it with Shadow Claw. Okidogi tried to become useful at the end. However, Armourouge's Armor Cannon beat Chestnut on a hard switch. Proved too much, and all Okidogi could do was kill Terrakion. But the matchup was already decided by that point, and Drizz won. Because he had Blastoise.
Oh yeah, I gotta say, seeing the Revavroom sprite was a bit of a jump scare.
Yeah, was it?
That's the first time I've actually seen it have an animated sprite on Showdown, yes.
It looks cool. Here's a little close-up. Cool.
And now I'm wondering if all of Gen 9 will get animated sprites before Gen 10 comes out.
I can't wait. It would be interesting to see. Knackley's just sitting there.
It's funny, they got the animated sprites out for Gen 8 pretty damn quick last year. I mean, last gen.
Well, Gen 9 is a little hard to code, so...
I guess so, because, different textures and stuff.
Kind
of have to, like, create the models in a different, I do not know the technical terms for it, but I think you understand what I mean.
I do understand what I mean, and it's very strenuous work. It's crazy what goes on behind developments, behind the scenes. Anyway, SVNU, we got Arse9 stepping into NU territory and beating Shengineer. Shen immediately taking out Lycanroc with Pinchurchin. Oh yeah, oh that's right. Shengineer bringing a pretty damn cool-looking electric terrain team, I would say.
Oh yeah, I think I've seen this team.
It's cool. I like it.
Hold up, I might have access to it. Hold up. I think he posted it. I think he posted it publicly on a thread somewhere.
But it's cool. I like the look of it. So yeah.
Hold on.
What?
Yeah, he definitely posted it publicly. Let me find it. I think it'd be
It's a cool looking team, okay? It's a cool looking team. Anyway, Shen immediately taking out Lycanroc with Pinkerton's Supercell Slam, followed by a Sucker Punch, immediately setting the momentum early on Shen's near side. Ars then brought out the Brute Bonnet and used it to his favor, basically, taking that Ice Punch from Iron Thorns, first of all, despite being Quark Drive attack boosted. Growth setup, killed it with close combat, very nice. Following a crit.
Oh, that seemed familiar about this team. He made a thread post about this Iron Thorns called the Throngler.
Oh yeah, the Throngler. That's right.
Okay. Yeah, now I remember. And I think he used this team as an example to show it off.
Okay. There's the crit Sucker Punch there on turn 5 against the Sceptile, which was really unfortunate for Shen. I think even without the boost, it still would have tanked the hit, but Sneaky Pete did not tank the hit. Instead, got critted to the Brute Bonnet, saying Zam in the process, before it lost to Oricorio, who also had Electric Seed. Then Rheaniclus set up Trick Room, consistently doing more damage against the Oricorio to net the kill in 3 or so turns. And then Arceus Flygon then took care of Pincurchin and Terrastellar Raichu. Interesting. Winning the game.
Gotta wonder why Shengineer sent in Raichu before Swampert when Flygon was still out.
I don't know either. I don't know why he tried switching out. I don't know why, but the game was already over by that point.
Yeah.
Alright, so RS9 picking up a win, finally. You know, may not have the best record, but still going out with a win.
That's always nice. One of the few wins the Stuffles got this week, too.
Let alone RS9. What are the few wins RS9 got? SVPU Fish Anemometer beating Sufis.
With a fun team.
It was a very fun team. Sufis had the advantage in the beginning, using Bombardier to beat Lycanroc and Hitmonlee, and Slowbro Galar tanked Sceptile's Earthquake to kill it with Shell Sidearm. Fish then kinda turned it around very nicely with the Terrifier Slowbro, who, after nearly killing Goodra and being immune to its Draco Meteor, then poisoned Bellybolt to kill it under Trick Room, and even tanked Tauros' Wave Crash, killing it with
Wait, did you say Terrifier Slowbro?
Terrafairy Slowbro.
Good.
Muffle mouth.
You said fire, though.
My muffle mouth works no bounds. Anyway, tanked the Goodra's nearly killed Goodra, being immune to the Draco Meteor, poisoned Bellybolt to kill under Trick Room, even tanking Tauros' Wave Crash and killed it with Expanding Force. Then Delphox won the game for Fish, using Indeedee Psychic Terrain to boost its Expanding Force to beat Sandslash, and Sufi's own Slowbro Galar to win the game.
I was a little confused as to why, after the Wave Crash, Fish didn't just go for Trick Room again. Because that just instantly won him the game, no?
Yeah, it did, but again, the Slowbro was a big threat, I guess. Maybe he thought to himself, oh, maybe I shouldn't. Maybe I would rather kill the Tauros to help myself get some sort of leverage so that Delphox could just come in and kill the rest if I can't win.
I suppose maybe he figured if it's a speed tie between Sufi's Slowbro and his Slowbro, then Trick Room being up would actually be a disaster.
Yeah, it was counterintuitive at that point to use Trick Room. So he don't want to risk it and would rather just use Delphox for it. And besides, Psychic Terrain is up. That's more preserving, that's more better to keep than, just arbitrarily getting up speeds.
Makes sense.
SVLC Greedy EB beating the very surprising positive record Bleehay. Well, this game was a game. Two traded knockoffs early on in the beginning, losing their Evulites a lot. A lot of this early game was just them losing their Evulites through knockoff, and even more knockoff. Greedy then started to take advantage once he got rid of Hazard's rapid spinning with the Toad School and knocking it out, while also chipping Terra Dragon Marini to an extent, leading to Terra Fairy Voltorb Hisui killing it with Terra Blast. And then, the rest of the game just kind of played out very normally. Greedy whittling down a lot of Bleehay's Mons until it was only Meanfu left, which was knocked out by Terra Blast for the win. Any other thoughts?
Not really. I just think this was a very greedy thing to do because he brought a Nimble.
That's right. He did bring in
That's
Nimble.
a greedyism, all right.
That is a greedyism. If anything, Greedy is advocating the rise of Nimble in LC. I appreciate it.
Always does. But wait, did the Nimble even come out this game?
It did
never
not.
Came out.
It did not, which is counterintuitive to your campaign, Greedy. If you want to stand for your Nimble being raised in usage in LC, you gotta bring it out a lot more.
No, Mikoi, this is the flex. This is Greedy saying that he didn't need the Nimble to beat Bleehy.
Stand Nimble supremacy, says Greedy. Never brings it out, yet still wins.
He said, I don't need to use my specialty against the likes of you.
What a very greedy thing to do.
We're obviously joking. I'm sure Greedy's a very nice guy.
SVDOU, Penter versus Akaru Kokyo. Akaru taking another L. RIP. Penter really started off strong in this game. First, the Tailwind Whimsicott and Kyurem freeze drying to Oko Ogerpon in turn 1. I feel like I've been seeing a lot of Ogerpons dying immediately, and this was no exception. After Archaludon beat Kyurem with Body Press, Penter had an opening with Helping Hand Indeedee, Heatwave Chiyu Under Sun, crit killing Tinglu, and missing Archaludon on turn 5. This is that turn.
Yeah, which was very unfortunate because I'm sure that would have been a very dead Archaludon.
It's a very, very dead Archaludon at that point. Yes, beating the Chiyu with Body Press. On turn 6, Follow Me Indeedee worked wonders as it redirected to itself, forcing the switch out by Incineroar while Iron Crown gets to set up. And Iron Crown did get to set up, and set up well it did. With only Terrakion. Oh, and Terrakion also beat Archaludon with the Sacred Sword against its Iron Defense boosted stamina on turn 8. It seemed Akaru had the advantage with Terra Fire, Sylveon, and Incineroar. However, that Will-O-Wisp miss on turn 12 ensured Terrakion will come in safely later, as Sylveon Terra blasted Iron Crown to absolute death. And then Penter ultimately won with the beat-up strat, the Whimsicott Terrakion beat-up strat. That has worked wonders. And just high horse-powered Sylveon, Sacred Sword taking down Incineroar. That's all that's all she wrote.
The Willow miss was for the Heat Wave miss.
Tit for tat. Ultimately.
But yeah, I think Penter just kind of won this.
Played it well, and that team just works well.
I feel like Akaru wasn't doing much event, was just not making any progress around the beginning of the game, just mainly roaring, whirlwinding.
He was meandering.
And not actually doing anything to get progress.
He was meandering a lot in the early turns. And once he got going with Archaludon, that's when he really started to try to, pursue maybe some kills and ultimately try to take some win. But yeah, it all came crashing down once the Willow miss happened.
Although Penta may have just won, even if that hit, because he was able to boost his attack.
He was the beat up strat. The beat up strat would have mattered. All right, next game we saw Azik versus Tenebrasite. Oh, this matchup was already decided once you look at the matchup itself. Fairy versus Dragon.
Yeah, it's one thing to face Azik and Mono, but if you're facing Azik and Mono with a type disadvantage...
Type immunity.
I don't know what to tell you.
Type immunity, not just disadvantage, pure immunity.
Yeah, it's not like, I mean, Tenebrasite had a fair amount of, other moves, other type coverages, but,
His main type is Dragon, and it's against a Fairy team.
It's really more of a type disadvantage than an immunity, because... Well, yeah, he has plenty of things to actually hit the fairies, but the fairies, literally all of them can hit him.
Yeah, the fairies have plenty of options to beat the dragons, tit for tat, but on an even larger scale. Yeah. Starting off the game, we got Iron Valiant tanking a Phantom Force from Dragapult to eventually kill it, as well as nearly knocking out Archaludon. Fluttermane using Sub and Moonblast to kill Hydreigon. Primarina then took care of Kyurem. Latias tried to Healing Wish Archaludon to put it back to full health, but ended up dying to Primarina's Moonblast after it tanked its Body Press. And then Azumarill Belly Drum to beat Gouging Fire, and then Aqua Jetted. It was just a slow motion kill. A slow motion mugging on the part of Tenebrasite by the Azik. And another predict loss for me. RIP.
Well, you predicted against Azik and Mono. I don't know what to tell you.
But I never expected the game to go this curb stompy.
Yeah, but it's pretty natural to expect Azik to win in Mono.
But unfortunately, as much as we want to, his team eventually fell short, and the Pangoros won't be. Despite the 8-2, Pangoros won't be in playoffs, but it was still very impressive that they got an 8 win. So, next up, we got the Laxes, the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes, beating the Lore Society, and the Snorlaxes, and with this win, the Snorlaxes guaranteed 4th, or no, clinched 4th. Not necessarily guaranteed, because the Goros were very close. But yeah, they needed to win.
I think actually in 3rd right now.
Well, they needed to win. What was I gonna say? They needed to win this set in order to clinch the last place in playoffs, and win they did.
Yep.
So let's review these games. Oh god. SVOU, we got Ineffable versus Tear Acid. One of the worst OU games I have ever seen in my life.
Damn. I understand it was bad, but
This was
that's quite a statement.
This was an abysmal game. Bad showing.
You sure Tier's not paying you to say that?
No, this was a bad showing by both players, not just one. Both are.
No, I mean, because Tier kind of got a little,
unhappy.
bullshitted, shall we say.
Unhappy? Yeah. Well, I was unhappy because this game sucked. Sucked a lot. After some offensive turns in the beginning, Goldango terra-ferried to resist Roaring Moon's knockoff to kill it with Dazzling Gleam, netting Ineffable that advantage. Iron Moth then went on to kill Great Tusk and tried to substall, but ultimately died after failing to knock it out with Sludge Wave. Then turn 14. The Goldango. My god. It's the Goldango versus the Samurott. It tanked the Ceaseless Edge, yes. It missed a Focus Blast, which, you expected this. And then, Tear Acid revealed a set. He revealed Custap Berry Goldango. Tried to hit Focus Blast and missed again. And died to an Aqua Cutter.
Yep.
Then, but that's not all. Terrifier Dragonite was Tear Acid's last resort, tanking Iron Valiant's close combat before beating it with Fire Punch, okay. But then tried to encore at turn 20?
You see, I know why, but I don't think he should have expected Ineffable to actually make that play.
What do you mean?
He was predicting Ineffable would use Sucker Punch there.
Okay. I guess I could see that. But still.
He was predicting Ineffable would Sucker Punch there, so he could encore and lock him into that, so you could just keep using Sucker Punch, but, not attack. But
Dragon
obviously Tier wouldn't be attacking when he uses Sucker Punch, and he would just keep setting up, or maybe he'd even roost if he had it. I don't know what his full set was. Odds are he didn't have that, though.
Oh, but anyway, yeah. I'm sorry I'm a little heated, but this was an abysmal game, and I never want to rewatch this game again. Denied.
But yeah, had Ineffable actually used Sucker Punch there, and had Tier locked Ineffable into it, he could have just made him keep using it until he's out of Sucker Punch, and then he could just kill everything.
Yeah, I'm sorry I got heated, but man, I did not like this game, and it puts a damper on both, unfortunately, and I hate saying that, but yeah, this was a bad game. This was an objectively bad game. Alright, next up, SVOU. I was pissed when I saw this game live, and man, rewatching this game does not help my mood any better. Next SVOU game should be better. Yavitu beating Mimikyu Stardust.
Yeah, well, you see, Avi, brought Sun Offense, which is always good.
Which is always good. As the Sun stan, of course you would say so. Yeah, Mimikyu Stardust brought kind of a tall team, I will say. A lot of long necks in this one.
I didn't even think about it like that.
Yeah, this was an interesting looking team by Mimikyu Stardust. A weird variant of the electric terrain that we're all so used to.
Are we used to this? I don't think we're used to electric terrain in OU.
But this was just a weird variant in general of the electric terrain. Yeah.
What variants even are there?
Well, this is not one of them. This is not one of them. I'll say that.
Well, it It apparently is now.
Well, Yavitu's Sun seemed very carried through this game. Venusaur beat Mimi's Terra Fairy Raging Bolt with Sub Giga Drain, and its own Raging Bolt terraing to tank Holuch's close combat before beating it with Thunderbolt, shipping later the Iron Crown with Thunderclap. And Meowscarada was Mimikyu's last resort, beating the Venusaur with Triple Axle before Walking Wake tanked it and used Flamethrower for the Oko and Yavitu to win.
Yep.
Fortunately, Triple Axle did not do Mimikyu Stardust any favors. SV Uber.
But it being Scarf, Meowscarada did.
Yeah, it outspeed the Walking Wake under Sun, which was interesting.
The Venusaur too.
The fast Meowscarada. What can I say? Don't underestimate that speed. SV Uber's Ice Master beat the Lace and a sound so in there. Lace and double miss on turn 5 was pretty notable for both. Miraidon failed to knock out the Tinglu, while Tinglu failed to even chip Miraidon with Ruination. It was a bad turn 5. After a couple of slow turns, Layson tried to make some progress on turn 26 by electro-drifting the Arceus Fairy, managing to only chip it into the red before dying to its judgment. Then Ice just proceeded to tank most of Layson's attacks, and hitting hard in return, such as Ho-Oh taking a wild charge from Zacian on turn 30 to kill it with Sacred Fire, as well as taking multiple judgments from Arceus Water, leading to Miraidon killing Corviknight and Necrozma killing the Tinglu. Then Ice pulled off the endgame fairly well with Miraidon and Ho-Oh beating the Arceus and the Koraidon respectively to win. Any other thoughts?
Maybe. Let me hold on. Let me check something.
It was a fairly long game, 53 turns. It was a good one.
Masters Zalatter team, but with Ho-Oh instead of Kyogre.
That's why it looked familiar. Okay, that looks cool. Any other thoughts?
No.
Okay. SVUU. It was supposed to be TMM versus Mimilucha. Now it's turned into Mimilucha versus Floor. Mimilucha started off well with Ursaluna beating a paralyzed Tinkaton, then Terraferrying against Greninja, but was flinched on turn 10 and was confused on turn 12. That Ursaluna was not being happy. Getting flinched and Hurricane confusioned very remotely close to each other. There were more particular hacks moments that happened in this game, such as turn 23, where Rotom missed a Thunder Wave and Rhyperior missed a Stone Edge in return, with Rotom further missing the Hydro Pumps in both turns 27 and 28, and Rhyperior managing to miss a Dragon Tail on turn 30. It was just just a big stretch of just them missing moves. And
the game had a lot of it was very back and forth in terms of luck, I guess.
The rest of the game played out kinda normal. Mimilucha finally picking up the final kills with Rotom beating Greninja through a crit Hydro Pump, and Ogerpon managing to encore, setting up against Zapdos to a +6 boosted knockoff for Mimikyu to win the game.
Yeah, I think Floor definitely could have won this, but Mimi Lucha did play the endgame better. He made the exact call he needed to win by switching in the Ogre Pawn right when the Zapdos was roosting and encoring it into Roost so it could set up all the... Yeah, like you said.
Yeah. And Swords Dance, boosting it to +6, knocking off and winning. Next up.
Yep.
Next up, SVRU. We got what was supposed to be, I think, Crying versus Danny?
Yeah.
Yeah, Crying versus Danny turned into Crying versus Enzo Nana in RU. It's a very slow game. This was a very slow game. Particularly with the teams they brought. Look, you got your Stalin Walls, you got your Powdon and your Slowbro, and on Enzo Nana's side, you got your Wochians, your Registeels, and your Slowbros. Crying, a lot of pressurizing from Crying in this game. Pivoting a lot despite being burned and phasing out certain threats. For example, the Slowbro on turn 9 after it sets up Calm Mind twice, and once again on turn 39. Okidogi tried to put in work, critting Crying Slowbro and killing Fazandipiti over consecutive turns, as well as killing a Powdon on turn 50. Enzo had some pretty unlucky moments on his own, particularly with his...
Yes, he did.
Particularly his Slowbro getting paralyzed over multiple consecutive turns, in turns 22 and 23, respectively. And Noivern also getting paralyzed as well for 4 consecutive turns, turn 64 to 67. And Okidogi missing a pretty crucial gunk shot on Cyclizar on turn 83. And the rest of the game was Crying, continuing to whittle down a lot of Enzo's Mons, crippling, neutering them, Crocodile being burned by Slowbro's Skull at the end to win. It was a very long game, but Crying ultimately picked up the win.
There was also the para on the Slowbro after it had set up a little.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Thunderous set up too, but the Slowbro got parried and could not attack it.
Yeah, which was very unfortunate. If that Slowbro got enough attacks, maybe it would have been a lot better for Enzo, but yeah. Crying ultimately won. Not much else to say. Let's move on. SVNU. Rillo BR making his debut against Skier Dude 101. Well, this is a team, a grassy terrain team. We've seen this before, and it has served well in the past. Rillo's Frostlass started off strong, netting an Icy Wind and Okoing Flygon, and Thwacky was left to sack to its Woodhammer to bring it down to Sash level, even managing to paralyze Swords Dancing Hitmonlee on turn 5 before dying to it, who then was too crippled because the Thunder Wave play and the paralyze, it was very crippled to really get going and sweep, only managing to beat Flygon before dying to Thunderous's Acrobatics. After Thunderous took out Grafaiai, it and Oricorio then waged wars on each other, both setting up, both Terra Grounding, Oricorio getting more boost as Thunderous also got more boosts and tried to do Acrobatics a lot and Terra Ground.
I gotta say, you played that sequence quite well, because let's go through it turn by turn. So he uses Supercell Slam, he sets up a quiver.
Mm-hmm.
He roosts, he uses Supercell Slam.
This was before they Terra Grounded, so...
Yep.
River Dances again, Supercell Slams, into the yellows, then Terra Grounds, Roost.
Then Scaredude Terra Grounds and Roost, and at that moment, Thunderous used Terra Blast, so that Terra was expertly timed.
Mm-hmm. Couldn't knock it out.
If he hadn't Terra'd, that'd be a dead Oricorio.
Yeah, that would be a dead Oricorio, and that was good timing.
And Revelation Dance just killed it.
Yeah, that was good timing on Scaredude's part. And yeah, after that, Oricorio's boost basically carried him for the rest of the game, beating Porygon Z after tanking its multiple Ice Beams. And basically, the rest of it, and the Monkey Dory ultimately died, the Ansi ultimately died, winning the game for Scaredude.
Mm-hmm.
Good win, good win, good win, good win. Next up, we got Druid versus Eternal Ocean in PU. Good little teams here. Good start by Eternal Ocean, burning the Slowbro Galar to make its physical shell side arm attempts neutered, so any chance that it would try to do a physical variant of shell side arm was basically neutered at that point. Burning Florges to trade with Bellybolt getting toxic, and Terra Ghost Frostmoth started to tear a lot in this game with Quiver Dance and Substitute. However, Triple Axle Terra Ice Ambipom put a stop to that, beating it and Bombardier.
This is my favorite part of the game.
The Terra Ice?
Where, just the whole sequence of first the Frostmoth, Terra Ghost to stop the fake out and get behind Sub, but then Druid, Terra Ices to not only tank the Ice Beam, but to triple axle that Frostmoth into dying.
Yeah, tank the Ice Beam, triple axle, get rid of the Sub, and then boom, just kill the Frostmoth. Very nice.
Yeah, but I'm a little confused, because, why did Eternal Ocean send out Bombardier into it?
I have no idea. Maybe it's slower, and and it's also Terra Ice, so Bombardier would easily die to anything that it does, especially Triple Axle.
Yeah, it made me wonder, the only thing I can think of as to why he did that was that he was threatening to Sucker Punch and thought Druid might switch.
Why didn't he use it? Why didn't he use Sucker Punch at that point? Ambipom is only used for attacking. And Druid at this point would just go attack with the Ambipom.
Well, I guess he thought he was making a play. He thought, odds are Druid would switch and save the Ambipom for later.
I guess, but yeah, there was just kind of a dumb little sack there.
Yeah, I mean, it's not even guaranteed he's running Sucker. Drew doesn't know if you're running Sucker or not.
Right.
A fair amount of them do, but not all of them.
Yeah, it could have been good.
I think a lot of them run, Knock, Brave Bird, Roost, and Rocks.
Yeah. Which, if you brought Sucker Punch, would have been a good play. Would have been a really, really nice play. But yeah, other than that, just don't have the Bombardier be threatened to just switch it out and try to move on to something else. I don't know. Then, yeah.
Yeah, like how maybe he could have even switched in Bellybolt to possibly get Static off.
Yeah, that can tank hits, and you could maybe heal it off.
No, it could not tank anything, McCoy. It was at 2%.
Oh yeah, it was toxic and at 2%. That's right. Yeah, Static would have helped.
Yeah.
Yeah, Druid started to come back at the started to really come to his own in the second half, using his own Bombardier to beat the Milotic and the Decidueye, leaving only Florges on Eternal Ocean's side to take on Slowbro Galar, which ultimately Druid won.
Yep.
Good win for Druid. Next up, Hacker versus Ampha. Not really much else to say about this game either, because Hacker kind of just dominated Ampha.
Finally, am I right?
Yeah, we haven't really seen a lot of dominating performances from Hacker as of late, and this one is really finally starting to show that yes, Hacker has got the goods. He used Gothita very well to beat Marini despite being poisoned, and Mienfu beat the Mudbray. Terra Dragoning Mienfu on turn 21 to tank Gothita's Psychic was good, knocking off its Scarf in the process, and Marini dodged the Mienfu's high jump kick and tanked Lullaby's boosted Dark Pulse to beat both, for Hacker to beat the win. Any other thoughts?
No. I was just going through the game myself.
It was a fairly Hacker-dominated win, let's be real.
Yep.
SVDOU, Railgun beating the Cheesin' One. Are you sad?
Yeah, Cheese could have played this better. I understand why he played the way he did. He just, of course, could have done it better. And he was on the back foot for like most of the game. It was very hard for him to catch up.
I feel like it was caught off guard early on because Luisin's Lando revealed Imprison, locking any potential moves that might threaten Cheese. But he countered it pretty nicely with crit killing Lando with the Kowtow Cleave King Gambit.
I don't think the Imprison was all that, well, let's see, when was it used?
Turn 2.
Yeah, but he switched the Lando out by that point, so I don't think it mattered.
Oh, okay. I was confused by his dots that he posted in the chat.
I think that was because he salt cured the Tornadus, which I guess had Covert Cloak, so it was immune to the effects of it.
Okay, I see what you mean. I see.
But yeah, he was caught off guard really early, as you said, because
the Covert Cloak Tornadus. So rectifying that.
I think he didn't. I don't think he expected Fake Out to go into Garganical. He thought. I think he thought Luisin would fake out the Grim Snarl, which is why he switched it out. And he terrored the Garganical because he figured, with Landorus, Luisin would target it. And he did. It's just that Cheese didn't expect the Fake Out to go into it too. Because, in theory, that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, that doesn't make sense. Why would you do that? But okay.
Yeah, like, that isn't actually needed.
Okay, I'm willing to admit I'm wrong in that, but, you know, Cheese was caught off guard, which kind of put him off for the rest of the game, because Luisin kind of matched him up well. Incineroar knocking off the Garganical's leftovers, Sinistra's Hospitality getting minimal health in the long run. Well, Luisin
he had to send in Sinistra so much that, well, it just kept getting lower and lower, and, like, eventually it died.
Yeah, it died, and, yeah, Cheese had no real, like, support left for healing. Luisin just kind of kept whittling down.
He was very reliant on that Sinistra due to how the early game started.
And Reggie Drago took that advantage very well and beat both Sinistra and Volcanion on turn 11, which, you know, practically sealed the deal for Cheese to lose at that point, and just kind of played it by the numbers for the rest of the game. Game ended with Goldingo and Tornadus taking out Grimstar and Landorus, winning Luis in that game.
Yeah, the reason Cheese lost this game is because he expected the fake out into Grimmsnarl, so he didn't set up screens. Had he been able to set up screens early, well, yeah, I think this would have been a much better game for him.
Much different, yeah. So good. So yeah, I guess good on Railgun for doing that, but the play didn't make sense at the hindsight. But you know,
yeah, the play didn't really make sense.
It carried him for it set up the matchup perfectly, and ultimately, that was the momentum booster that Railgun needed. Alright, next up we have Lechin versus Trogba in Monotype, which Lechin won.
And I gotta say, it's really stupid how he won in hindsight, because Trogba could have very easily taken this.
He could have. He really could have. Good start,
but he did a stupid.
Good start, though, by Trogba, immediately dispatching the Heatran with Hoopa's Hyperspace Fury. However, things changed really immediately when Cerulege came in and set up Swords Dance, beating Indeedee through a crit Bitterblade, and then, turn 5. He crit.
Crit?
Yes, turn 4. He crit.
Oh, yeah, it was a crit. You see, that didn't register when I watched this because that crit definitely didn't matter.
It didn't matter, but still it was a crit. Anyway, turn 5. Really funny turn.
Then he did the stupid.
Really funny turn.
Where he does the stupid.
Shadow Sneak to Latios, hitting. And as you see in the description, Psychic Terrain doesn't affect Pokemon immune to ground. Latios died to a Shadow Sneak.
Which makes me, and of course he forgot about that, but like, is there a reason you sent in the Latios over the over the Iron Boulder anyway?
I don't know. Why would you?
The Iron Boulder was immune to Shadow Sneak in terrain.
And if
he just sent that out, there would be no problem.
Well, okay. If he sends out Iron Boulder, and Lechin would have, like, what, Poltergeist, maybe? What do you have?
Well, the Iron Boulder would move first.
Yeah, that's right. Iron Boulder still would have moved first.
Iron Boulder's crazy fast. Do you know the speed on that thing?
Maximum 381, and that's without Scarf.
Yeah.
Crazy. Yeah. Cerulege started sweeping before befalling to a Para and an Oko from Iron Boulder's Mighty Cleave on turn 12. And then Ogerpon was then paralyzed by Deoxys, but still managed to catch a hard switch on turn 18 to the Iron Boulder, Okoing it through Horn Leech, and then beating Deoxys at the end to win.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he won, if he didn't hard switch that, but it certainly would have helped had he not.
Yeah, Iron Boulder would have, done the Mighty Cleave, beat Ogerpon because it was paralyzed, and then most presumably beating the Gouging Fire. Yeah.
No, that's not guaranteed because I'm pretty sure this Gouging Fire is banded with Proto Sun. I mean Proto Speed.
Oh.
So it comes out in Sun, it would outspeed the I'm pretty sure it would outspeed the Iron Boulder unless that thing's like scarfed or something.
And Iron Boulder couldn't do anything as well because Gouging Fire would just take its hits.
Well, actually, I don't know. I don't know if it would, because Iron Boulder hits really hard.
It does.
Mighty Cleave is a very hard-hitting move.
It does. But Gouging Fire is surprisingly
And that
tanky.
is not a defensive Gouging Fire.
No, that's a problem. then that's a problem.
Yeah, so, but Iron Boulder isn't a tanky mon either. Especially
so.
not this one.
Unfortunately,
That's a banded gouging fire. It would have likely outsped, so it probably would have outsped, used Earthquake or whatever else it had, and probably killed the Iron Boulder and won anyway.
so Legend still would have won.
Probably. I don't think it's guaranteed because, for all I know, there could be some roles at work that I don't know of. But from that standpoint alone, assuming it had Earthquake, yes, I think so.
Okay. Alright, now we get to the final matchup. We got the Flameslinger Skeleturges versus the Resort City Rufflets. Both teams already qualified for the playoffs, so this is just for gravy, for seeding.
Yeah,
for gravy and
might I say, we weren't terribly concerned with our seeding, unlike our opponents, apparently.
Well, judging by the way this first game played out, this was definitely a controversial way to go. SVOU Avarice versus King Leo. Through multiple scheduling shenanigans, this ended up being a dead game. We'll just leave it at that.
It's crazy why it even happened, too.
We'll just leave it at that. We'll just leave it at that. SVOU. Now, from something really frustrating to something really funny. SVOU. Exotic versus VK. AKA the metronome fight.
Best game of the tour.
Do I need to really play through this game? Do you really need my expert analysis? It's freaking metronome.
You don't need to analyze anything. You can just say notable moments of what happened.
I did, and I have put in a lot of notes in here. Surprisingly enough. So, Dragonite was a heavy standout, hitting Sing on turn 1, causing Clefable to be put to sleep. Then the next, Dragonite sets up T-Spikes against Hetren, who bounced it back thanks to Magic Bounce, causing the pivot to Slowking. Weavile then dismantled Clefable with Cross Poison and Sing, as well as Iron Defense as Clef sacked to Lunar Dance. But VK countered that by having Iron Valiant use Fell Stinger, giving a huge attack boost. Iron Valiant dodging a Poltergeist on turn 18, allowing it to clear hazards via Defog. Very nice. Then Clefable tried to Shell Smash on turn 21, but Slowking rolled Eruption, killing Clef at the low health. Then Weavile cleaned the rest of the endgame, beating Hetren with Eruption, Dragonite with Barbarage, and Iron Valiant ending on the final turn. So yeah, the notes may say otherwise, but this game was incredibly memey.
Yeah, it's funny. If you didn't specify that it was a metronome game, you might actually think this was a skillful game.
A skillful
based on what you just described.
Yeah, a skillful game with random ass moves that somehow work.
Oh yeah, I think you forgot to mention the healing wish, or no, the healing wish, I think.
Which turn?
I think, let's see. Just healing wish at turn 39, and VK's Iron Valiant, which was originally quite low, it was literally on 8, came back in at full health and cleaned it up.
Beating the Terra Ghost, Iron Valiant. Oh my...
It's funny, that's actually the second time.
Healing Wish came in
okay,
clutch.
not the second time for Healing Wish specifically, but Earlier in the game, Lunar Dance was used.
Yeah, that's the second time a sacking move was used to restore one's PP and health. And yeah. Good job. Good job, VK, on a meme-centric win. Can't believe that happened. Let's move on.
Can't get any more memey than that.
And this is an OU game.
Take that, Team Charm.
This is an OU game. SV Ubers. We got Blood Ace was supposed to fight. No, actually, no. This was Blood Ace versus Frozoid, right?
This.
Oh no,
yes,
this was supposed to be.
It was supposed to be Skyu versus Frozoid.
But no, this was Blood Ace subbed in. Blood Ace subbed in for Skyu versus Frozoid. Oh, right. Koraidon went ham in the first few turns, chipping the Iron Shreds and heavily chipping Ho-Oh to let it die to Brave Bird range, dying to Arceus.
Gotta appreciate Frozoid calling the switch to get Koraidon in safely.
Yeah, and dying to the Brave Bird range. Dying to the Arceus Judgment, the next turn. Arceus Fairy taunt...
Dying to the Brave Bird? What are you...
No, chipping... Ho-Oh died to a Brave Bird. Arceus Fairy died to the...
To the recoil, you should specify.
To the recoil. Died to the Judgment later, in the next turn. Alright, Arceus Fairy taunted Necrozma, then burned it for extra insurance as the latter tried knocking off to catch a potential switch. Then Frozoid just kind of continued the momentum, Lando knocking out Arceus and Miraidon, outspeeding with Scarf, with Ho-Oh knocking out Koraidon's Outrage, Miraidon clearing Necrozma for Frozoid to take the win.
I was a little puzzled when I saw Scarf Lando in the team, but look how well it worked.
Worked very well, outspeeding a lot, and beating Arceus and Miraidon, as I said, and yeah, never underestimate the Scarf Lando. Next up, SV Uber, UU, we got Geomancy versus who was supposed to be Yippee. No, actually, wait. This was
supposed to be Yippee versus Drew.
Yeah, this was supposed to be the game of all time between Drew and Yippee. However, double sub happened, and we got Geomancy versus Elfuson instead, which...
Yeah, Drew's availability was bad, and he just couldn't really play, and Yippee had IRL issues going on.
So we had to sub out, and we get this double sub instead, which, to be fair for what we got, this was a friggin' fair trade-off, because, my god, Elfuson showed off some Storat that actually worked well. Let's see. Let's go through it. The Grimmsnarl sets up screens, okay. Then Rapid Spin by Excadrill to get rid of rocks, okay. Then Iron Crown tanks this Earthquake and reveals it had a weakness policy. Sets up the agility, then Blood Ace, Geomancy tried to switch out using the Tornadus, and then it sets up Calm Mind, and then boom, stored power damages a lot, even going through the Terra Steel Pecharunt using the Tachyon Cutter, and then the stored power, boom, tanking the Bullet Punch from Scizor to knock it out, winning the game.
It's funny how this turned out, because the team Yippee wanted to use was kind of similar to this team that Elfuson used, but, well, it actually had a pretty poor matchup.
Ooh, so glad Elfuson was able to modify it.
Yeah, I'm not sure where Elfuson got that team, but I'm glad he used it.
Well, it was for the better, and, Iron Crown carried very nicely. SVRU, Feliburn versus Lime. Feli took charge early on by beating Deoxys' defense with Necrozma, as well as OHKOing the Okidogi on a hard switch on turn 10.
Look, I understand why Lime did that. It's just that was way too risky.
It was
You don't do that.
very, very risky to do that when Necrozma is 100% going for the Photon Geyser.
That was not... No?
Actually, no.
Who the hell would... What do you mean by that?
Actually, no. It was trying to predict Dark Balls, but whatever. It's fine. Trying to predict against a psychic user against a Photon poison fighting type. Risky.
Yeah, it was a little too risky considering what Tanish had out at the time did not resist Psychic.
But Palossand did try to outstall Crocodile by taking all its knockoffs before burning it with Scorching Sands at turn 24, so at least there's something. Notable miss on turn 45, where Lime's Cyclizar missed the Draco Meteor on Feli's Cyclizar, causing the latter to kill the former with Dragon Tail. Yeah, that was really unfortunate. Feli then swept the endgame with Fizendipity, sending up the Calm Mind, while Lime's Thunderous missed the Thunder Wave, and Moonblasted Heat Wave the rest of Lime's team for Feli to take the win.
Yeah.
So yeah.
You know, not gonna lie, I didn't realize that we actually got hexed in a fair amount of our games this week, until I watched, Limes and,
someone else that we'll be talking about later.
Yeah.
Alright.
Soon. We'll be talking about soon.
Next up is SVNU. We got Arctix beating Wadley. So, Oricorio wars were pretty prevalent in this game, both trying to get a leverage through multiple Quiver and Revelation dances, while tanking a lot of hits and dodging a lot of hurricanes in the process. They were...
What do you mean Quiver dances? They weren't Quiver dancing against each other.
Revelation dances, I mean. Not Quiver, Revelation.
They didn't do that either, because Dancer would have triggered, and, well, yes, as one of them put it, it was indeed a very awkward matchup.
It was a very awkward matchup. But, you know, they dodged a lot of hurricanes. A lot of them missed. And then until Mew then forced the switch out and tried to do its Calm Mind stored power strats. Then Arctix tanked a Thwacky's Grassy Glide on turn 23, allowing him to kill it in return with Hurricane, and once it died, Grafii came in and killed Terragrass Grafii with Gunk Shot, ultimately picking up the win.
Apparently Wadley meant to Terra there? Because he said, what? I Terra?
Unfortunately, the Terra did not go through. And yeah.
But it's okay. Wadley didn't care whether he won or lost this week.
The week didn't matter, so why should we try?
Yeah, he did just say, whatever. I don't care. I didn't care whether I won or lost.
Okay. Well, time to talk about more pain for your game, for your team, because SVPU, taking notes kinda, beat Richard Millie Plain. You tarnished it, you monsters. You absolutely tarnished the freaking perfect record set by Richard Millie.
You should see the game. The game tarnished his perfect record.
His perfect record was ruined, thanks to him being slotted in PU. And the game itself. But mostly the game itself.
Nikolai. Richard Millie Plain versus Taking Notes Kinda. How about an alternate title?
Go on.
Richard, what did I say before? Richard hit a single attack under 100% accuracy challenge. Impossible.
That's a good title. Make it into a YouTube short. Why not? Well, okay. Glastrier set up well against Colossal after Rabombi supported webs, but missed a early high horsepower on turn 7, even though it did manage to get the kill it on later. This proved to be a very bad omen in the long run.
Well, it used high horsepower, missed, then it used Icicle Crash.
And missed.
It hit and flipped. Then it used it again and missed.
and
then it finally got the kill with high horsepower. But I gotta say, Richard should not have gone for it a second time. The Icicle Crash, I mean. I understand why he did the first time. He was probably thinking, taking notes kinda would think, oh, well, he's gonna go for high horsepower again, so maybe I can send in my Rotom to take that, because it's got Levitate and it's immune to that. So Richard may have been predicting a Rotom switch on that turn, which makes sense.
But it missed.
Yeah. No, I just mean he shouldn't have done it a second time, because odds are, after seeing that, taking notes kinda wouldn't want to switch in Rotom.
Yeah. After seeing...
He should have just gone for high horsepower again, but it was too late for last year to continue sweeping.
The ice
after
horse.
Taking 2 flamethrowers.
The ice horse. Again.
The ice horse could not deliver due to hacks.
The hacks did not stop their Pokeart, because
I know. You think I don't know that?
Taking notes kinda then went ahead and dodged multiple hurricanes from Braviary Hisui, and had Rotom and Houndstone used to great effect on his side by killing Masquerain and just generally being a good wall against Heracross, respectively. And then...
Let me see if we have Richard's team.
Okay. Well, turn 26. The misses keep on coming, because Hoopa then missed a Focus Blast on the Skuntank, then missed a Hurricane on the Skuntank, then the Volton Veluza came in, tried to Terra Ground, tried to, get the Fillet away in, get the boosts in with the Citrus Berry, then knock off, okay. And then, the Aqua Jet, the Rocky Helmet came into play. Sucker Punch didn't do crap. Aqua Jet killed it, win for taking notes, kinda. Wow. Pokeart.
What do you want me going?
Never do that to Richard again.
I'm grieving.
Alright. Next, well, now is not the time to grieve, because we gotta talk about your game next.
Shouldn't that mean I grieve more?
Yeah, exactly. Now's not the time to rest from grieving, because you gotta grieve more. Next up is Tempo de Anguria beating your butt. So talk us through this game.
Hey, you didn't have to phrase it that way.
Talk us through this game.
I wanna.
Or I'll talk through it.
You're not being respectful to my grieving.
Basically making you even more sad as you just sunk into a new low. Alright, Tempo started off lucky, getting a crit Steel Beam on your Vullaby on turn 3, allowing for the faster sack, and killing it with Glimmet.
Well, to be fair, I didn't know he would do that, so I should have roosted.
Maybe you should have. Yeah, maybe you could have preserved your blow by a
That
little
was
bit
the
more.
right play. Yes, that was the right play.
And then
I did the wrong play.
he kind of Terra ghosted his Lullaby, which
Why are
really
you forgetting literally everything that came before?
what the freaking okay, your Lullaby died. Then what? His Lullaby nasty plotted. Then oh yeah, why you hard switched into your Voltorb?
Well, Mikoi, look at my team. Do I have anything else I can do?
I guess nothing. But still.
You see, Mikoi, this team is pretty bad when it comes to nasty plot lullaby. Okay.
Yeah, the Terra, like I said, the Terra kind of carried tempo through the rest of the game because it preserved the Lullaby well. You sent in your Gothita on a hard switch, and it nasty plots. So giving him a free turn to setup, and then boom, just kind of killed your Gothita, and Terra ghosted, so the high jump kick doesn't work on Lullaby, and
Yeah,
then
I may have done a stupid.
and ultimately it kind of swept it swept you in the end. Ultimately, you lost to that Lullaby.
Yes, I know, Mikoi. I was very caught off guard by it.
Well, now you learn. Now you learn, Pokemon. Now you learn to expect whenever you're slotted again in LC.
No, not really, because how was I supposed to know it'd be special lullaby?
This is why we expect special Lullaby. Why aren't people doing it? All right, next up, SV.
Again, someone who seems to have only run physical in the past.
I guess he wanted to change things up.
Also, your coverage is still bad.
My what?
You forgot things.
Okay, you explain it because you're the one who played and I didn't.
You're probably wondering why I protected versus the Lullaby instead of just outright attacking it with Voltorb.
Why did you?
I thought he might Terra that turn, and I was trying to bait it out, if possible. But I suppose he was at full health, so I guess switching did make more sense.
Anything else? Well,
And I did a stupid.
The hard switch.
See, I did a stupid.
Well, the hard switch to Gothita, yeah, it was kind of bad.
No, that's not the stupid.
What, the turn
The stupid
after?
was the fact that I didn't Terra the Gothita.
Oh.
You see, the stupid was my thought process as to why.
Okay, go on. Explain.
So I was thinking, I may need to Terra my Gothita since it's Terra Dark, which would allow me to tank a Dark Pulse and hit the Lullaby for super effective damage. However, I thought, then again, if I don't preserve my Terra, Shelter will destroy me later.
What? So you could have used your Terra short term and tried to mitigate that Lullaby, man.
So I figured. So then I figured. Wait, he might just think I'm Scarf Gothita like they all are, and so maybe he'll switch. I'm really stupid because I forgot he couldn't switch.
Well, he stayed in. He stayed in and did literally everything he can to win. Because he was in
So
the
now
perfect
you
position.
understand my bluff comment, because I completely forgot Bro couldn't switch.
Shadow tag. Oh well. Alright.
Yeah, but like, even if I had Terra there to, like, you know, stop the Volaby, yeah, I don't think I was gonna win with when there was you know, Shelder still left without my Terra, because once Shelder sets up, it's literally over for me.
It would have been over for you
without Terra
regardless.
on Fungus.
Yeah, it would have been over for you regardless. So unfortunately, you were still in a
My
lose-lose
Fungus was the
situation.
only Shelder answer once that thing set up because it had Terra Water.
Still would have gotten a lose-lose situation in the end. So
Yeah, but I was told by as you might recognize this team, it was used by Elfuzon in a previous week. I was told by Elfuzon that I have a bad matchup into Nasty Plot Vol and Shelder.
Literally the two things that Tempo brought. It was good against your team.
Yeah.
Oh.
I probably should have prepped a little more, but I wasn't super concerned.
Okay, fair
I did a test game against Nasty Plot Vol. Outplayed it wonderfully, but
we'll never see that test game.
Yeah, I guess this was not the same situation.
Oh well, that's fine. Maybe it's someday. Maybe someday you'll redeem yourself against that Volaby. Anyway,
I played Tempo plenty during quals.
That's fine. SVDOU, the penultimate game, we got Seraph Z versus Sundays, which Sundays actually won and got off to a pretty good start. This game was very interesting. I mean, look at them teams. Look at them teams, yo. Seraph Z brought interesting. An interesting variant on the weather. Sundays did get off to a good start with Goldango getting a double knockout on Landorus and Grimmsnarl through Light Screen on turn 3, shifting the game to his advantage. Continuing the momentum, Sundays broke through Seraph screens with Farigaraph's Psychic Fans on turn 6, tanking Terragrass's Archaludon's Electroshots with Landorus immunity, and Regidrago's Draco Meteor threatened the rest of the team, leaving only Archaludon and Baxcalibur, while Landorus beat Pelipper. Leaving only Rillaboom in the back, Sundays won.
Would you believe me if I told you Sundays played this and won on 40 hours of no sleep?
That's right, this was part of that 40 hours challenge that he's done.
It was not a challenge. He was just working his butt off for school.
And managed to play his game and still won.
Yes.
Man.
This team, I think they built it kind of last minute, too.
Wow.
Or is it a team they already had? I don't know. But they were definitely prepping pretty last minute because obviously this game was played pretty early.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, Sunday's picking up the win very nicely. And finally, we got Meme Dose versus Twinkie in Monotype. This was a really funny game to end off.
Yeah, this oh my god. The amount of times I thought we were like the amount of times I thought, oh my god, it's so over, or oh my god, we win, oh my god, it's so over, and so on.
It was a back and forth roller coaster ride of fun. So, Meme Nose had early luck in the beginning, burning the Golurk with Pyro Ball and tanking its Earthquake very effectively before sucker punching it to death. Dragapult then became a threat, beating Cinderace and Heatran, only having Earth Power and was forced to use it while Dragapult chipped away with Phantom Force. And after Spectrier knocked out Ninetales with a crit, Gouging Fire came in and killed it before being knocked out by Ceruledge, who looked to be in a good position.
Wait, did you skip the part where Dragapult died?
Dragapult died to a Shadow Sneak, that's right, from Ceruledge.
Yeah, not gonna lie, while that Dragapult was out and doing its thing, I was thinking it's so over.
Because they ran Sneak. Ceruledge does run Sneak. So, well, we could have used that. Well, Twinkie could have used that for his Ceruledge, but we'll get to that later. Yeah, after Spectrier knocked out Ninetales with the crit, Gouging Fire came in, killed it before being knocked out by Ceruledge, who looked to be in a good position. As you can see here, first of all, Gouging Fire using Raging Fury. Never thought we'd see Raging Fury from Gouging Fire.
What? That's common,
though. Okay.
I don't know if it's standard exactly, but it is common, especially for this set.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway.
In fact, this is the set Lechin was running, I'm pretty sure.
Okay, fair enough. Yeah, Sword Stand, +2 attack, +2 speed, Ceruledge. It was ready. It was willing. It was in a sweeping position, and it beat Gouging Fire. So yeah, Memedos was ready for it. He said GG. Then this man revealed that he didn't run Shadow Sneak, I guess, or just didn't want to use it because Ceruledge knocked it out with Shadow Sneak on turn 19.
No, he definitely wasn't running it.
Weird. The Ceruledge then beat Mimikyu's.
No, I don't think it's that weird with a team like this, because
Mimikyu runs it?
Mimikyu is running it, yes. And besides, Ceruledge gets an amazing coverage move in close combat, which is much more necessary here than it running Shadow Sneak. Especially since it already has the ability to outspeed almost everything if it survives a physical hit.
Thanks, weak armor. Yeah, but otherwise, that Ogerpon comes in and beats Mimikyu with Hornleech, breaking the disguise. Oh no, Ceruledge break through the disguise, allowing Ogerpon to hit the Hornleech before Goldango was knocked out by Ivy Cudgel, winning for Memedos.
Oh yeah, something I noticed. Memedos's Ceruledge moved before Twinkie's Mimikyu.
Yeah. Was it a slow
They were both using Shadow Sneak, but Memedos's Ceruledge moved first.
Was it a slow Mimikyu? I have no idea.
I guess it was not max speed. I guess it was adamant Mimikyu.
Interesting you would bring that.
Yeah. Now, let me check something real quick. Oh, I see. Yup, that is adamant.
What?
Adamant Mimikyu is 291 max speed.
Ooh, and Ceruledge is 295.
Ceruledge is 295 max speed when jolly. Which I'm guessing Memedos's must have been.
Dang. Close enough.
Yup.
Alright, and that brings me in, and the Rufflet, you have the advantage after that, 5-4.
I think this also means that Memedos is the only undefeated player on the team.
You could have been.
No. Actually, he's not. Yippee and Memedos are.
Fine. Okay. So that brings us to the end of the regular season. We're not really going to go through the team thing that I usually do with every team tour, where I go through the bottom 4 teams, because they're pretty self-explanatory on how they couldn't make playoffs. Lapras's and Stuffle's got pretty much an unlucky season overall. Lure Society got unlucky at crucial weeks, and the Goros were very, very close. 5th place is not bad, but they were very, very close in making playoffs. The Laxes were just...
Oh yeah, the Goros could have very easily made playoffs.
Yeah, they have very, very
they
close.
They were a strong team.
They were very, very close. And again, you could make the argument again that every team was strong in their own right. But yeah, the top 4 made it through, and the Goros were definitely the closest in making it in. So credit to them. Credit to them for at least, getting us to putting up a good fight. All right, let's move on now to predicts. Who won predicts?
I just want to say that those last 4 games, the first 2 of those, you had me in despair, Mikoi. But I'm glad we ended on some good notes.
You ended on your boys. All right.
Also, just saying, I was much more in despair over Richard's game than my own. I was very accepting of my loss because I realized I didn't know better, and I fricked up. That's all.
But Richard's game was a pain.
Yeah, that was... nearly brought me to tears, man.
All right.
Okay, I'm exaggerating, but that was painful to watch.
Anyway, let's move on to who won predicts.
Okay, the winner of predicts, between you, me, and the pick at least, it is I!
Somehow you still won.
Yes. And, in second place, it's you with, oh, wait, I didn't say the numbers for me. I got 19 out of 30.
Which is over 50...
60%.
That's amazing.
I wouldn't call it amazing, but it's good, that's for sure.
And I got, as you said...
63%, yeah.
63%.
You got 23 out of 39.
Yay. At least I'm getting good. At least I have good luck with these ratios.
Which is you got about 59%.
Yeah.
And the pick, oh, poor pick.
It tried to be a betting pick. It did not.
Well, as they say, if you pick randomly, if you pick absolutely randomly, you're probably still going to get about 50% right. In which the pick, well, it got around that. Just barely under. It got 48.7%.
Good God, pick. You nearly got it. Alright. Time to end off this long video with some more predicts, this time for the series semifinals. I know I said grand final playoffs earlier in the video, but it is the series semifinals. So, we got our top 4 teams, and we got our lineups ready. This was actually posted a day later than the original scheduled lineup, so you see that the deadline remains at Sunday, June 16th, Father's Day, so good. Nice little Father's Day treat for you all.
Oh, I just realized that since this is semis and I'm on one of the teams in semis, I only get to predict 10 matches.
Yeah.
Well, so odds are you're gonna beat me.
Yay! I have a chance. I must take this chance and pick you do too. Semifinals.
However, I still win if I get a better ratio, just saying.
I know, that scares me. Alright. Semifinals games are on. And this time, we have no Johnning. So we actually do get to predict all 20 games before games even happen. Yeah.
Yep, Maverick didn't know John this time.
None of you know John this
Even
time.
though he wanted to.
None of you know John this time, which I'm very happy. All right.
Although we do have a game soon, actually.
Yep, very soon, and you're gonna check that out, and hopefully you do freaking link your games.
If I'm awake for it, I will.
Do link your games.
It's at 3 a.m. my time.
Do link your games. Do link your games. Do link your games. Do link your games. Alright, next up. Oh no, next up. First up, we got SVOU. We got VK. And we got JJ09 Lee.
This is gonna be the first game of the week, assuming Maverick and Avarice don't play in the next few hours.
Well, this is actually a pretty good matchup. Both players are looking pretty solid this year, with a lot of good performances from both. Although, and their records are seeming to boot, with VK being 3-2 and JJ being 4-2. Okay, so from the looks of things, I will say, though, I'm sorry, Rufflet. I know VK's a great player, a heavily underrated player. People should really really appreciate the style of matches and performances that VK has had, because he's good. However, I will say, though, with all due respect, that JJ has been having the better performances and has had better weeks to show it, and just basically has a better showing over the past couple of weeks. So this might be going against ya, but I'm going with JJ.
Well, I'll have you know that this is actually a rematch from ADPL.
Which is hype. And who won that?
JJ did.
Yeah, let's see if lightning strikes twice again.
I already put in JJ for you because it's pretty clear you think JJ's winning.
And who did Pick say?
We randomly picked JJ.
So JJ. Alright, next up, SVOU Maverick Shooters versus Avarice. This one should be equally as hype as the other OU game. Both players looking pretty. Avarice actually scoring a positive record for once, 3-2. Maverick though kind of on a roll with his little thing being 3-1.
Ever since the Ferenia game, yeah, he's been on a roll.
He's been on a roll and is doing pretty well. So yeah, Avarice may be good. Avarice may be a good player, but I've seen better from Maverick. So you know what? This might be betting man of me, but I am picking Maverick Shooters to win.
How is that being a betting man?
Seriously? I thought people were gonna just go straight for Avarice, honestly.
Are you, why would you think that, though?
I don't know. A lot of people, I don't know, it's just my own brain.
Hey, wait, a game happened!
What?
I just checked the thread because I was curious about what other predicts said, and Yoko's aren't the only ones posted so far, but I also see a game happened!
Shit. Well,
I'm not gonna tell you which game it is, though. We'll let that be a surprise.
Shit. Okay, fine. Well, again, I could have had a perfect record here. Anyway, fine. Well, Maverick to win. We're gonna say Maverick to win.
Good, because not even Yoko predicts against Maverick.
What did Pick say?
We randomly picked Maverick Shooters.
Yeah. So yeah, go. So yeah, there's your support, woman. There's your Rufflet support for the day. Next up, SV Ubers. We got Richard Millie Plain versus Sky U.
The one Ubers player, Richard has not faced yet.
Well, Is it a heavy question? As much as Sky U legitimately as much as Sky U has impressed me over the early weeks, the later weeks I haven't seen that side of Sky U, that really the really good side of him that he can outplay a lot. Meanwhile, this Richard Millie playing guy is 6-0 in Ubers. 6-0 in Ubers, on a roll. I don't see why I should bet against Richard.
Good. However, I disagree, says the pick.
He says Sky, you will win. What a bold betting man choice. Alright, next up. SVUU. We got PU versus Just Drew.
Wait, PU versus Drew?
Yeah.
Like the tier?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Just Drew versus the entire tier of PU. No. Piyush.
That's crazy.
Well, Piyush. I've seen Piyush do well, being the Manor Slayer, being 4-2. Great record. Drew, very consistent in UU, has been having a 4-2 record of his own. Yeah, has been consistently playing the tier. You, known as the Manor Slayer, as I mentioned. This one's going to be very close. But comparing skill-wise, I'd say Piyush is probably the better player. But Drew mains the tier more. This is going to be very close. This could really turn the tide on...
If Piyush plays at his best, yeah, I think Piyush is probably the better player.
This is a tossy turny uppy tier for Piyush. UU has been treating him very kindly in the past, but also not very kindly in the past. So, for consistency's sake, I think I'm gonna pick Drew, but only slightly. That's right. I'm betting against the Manor Slayer, which might surprise a lot of people. But you know what?
We're gonna make you regret this so hard.
I'm ready to be regretted upon. Go Piyush. I am rooting for Piyush though.
Good.
But I am favoring Drew here in this predict. What does the pick say?
And unfortunately, the pick is 2.
So, it maybe it's a double bluff. Who knows? Alright, SVRU. Time to get serious now as the rematch from last week. Lime versus Fellyburn Part 2. Electric Boogaloo.
Hopefully it's not an electric boogaloo.
Well, don't spoil. Wait a minute, did I just spoil? Okay, whatever.
No, you didn't.
Okay, so yeah, we've seen literally last week. We've seen Fellyburn beat Lime. We've seen how much Fellyburn can beat Lime. How will Lime prep against Felly again this time? This should be very interesting, and this should be a matchup, a record for the books. Will Lightning strike twice, in my opinion? I think so. I think I'm going Felly on this one.
The pick agrees.
SVNU, we got Wadley versus Actrotix Part 2 Electric Boogaloo. This one should be...
hopefully it's not an electric boogaloo.
But for this one, I'm going to go the opposite direction. I think Wadley may not have cared last week, but this is semis. You better bring your A game this one, buddy. I think Wadley will win this week.
Oh, his A game will be brought.
Will the pick agree?
The pick disagrees with you, though.
Damn. Going for Actrotix. Very reliant. Alright. Next up, we got a curious matchup here. TGA versus Seraph Z. So, Oblivion Wing joining the PU ranks, and he's facing against the Manor in TGA. So, the gaming attack, what's his record right now? Let's see, the record for TGA is currently 2-4. Oof. Not very good. Not a very good record.
You said this is a curious matchup, but I think this change in lineup makes sense. considering they want to bring their strongest this week.
And so,
But they already got Avarice in OU. They got JJ in OU. They got Exotic in doubles. So what do they do for PU? They put a very solid all-arounder in PU. That's what they do.
yeah, I'm very curious to see how we'll do. And comparing skill-wise, yes, Seraph Z is the better of the two. I will say that. TGA, I don't think has had much to show, and I don't think his games are that particularly good, even though his wins are good. Some of his wins are all right. It's not enough for me to like put him above Seraph Z. So I think this could be Seraph Z's game here.
I don't know if Seraph Z actually plays that much PU, but I understand your logic.
Even though
also apparently he signed up as a manager for PUPL, so he might play it somewhat.
That should be your concern, Rufflets. That should be your concern. So yeah, PU is a tier that can be very interesting. So I'm very curious to see how this game will go. What does Pick say?
The pick says objection.
TGA, really? Okay, so it's going for
Yes.
the traditionalist. All right, El Fuson versus Tempo de Anguria in LC. You've seen.
Get revenge for me, El Fuson. Get revenge.
You've seen how Tempo played in LC first-hand PokeArt. Well, I beg to differ. I think El Fuson will win. El Fuson is new.
Well, of course.
El
He's El
Fuson.
Fuson. Why wouldn't he win?
El Fuson is currently neutral, 3-3. Tempo de Anguria is 2-3. So, yeah. Well, judging from both of their skills, yes, El Fuson is the better player. So there you go. El Fuson to win.
Wow, the pick is really disagreeing with you on nearly everything.
It's being the disagreeing man. Speaking Tempo, interesting.
Yes, although I did spell Tempo's name wrong when doing the pick.
Or Guria. All right. Next up.
No, I spelled it wasn't Anguria. I spelled Angurist.
Angurist. Next up, we have a pretty even sort of game between Loudwinner and Exotic 64 and DOU. Finally,
yeah, this is a game I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, this is pretty even. Both players have had good showings in the past, especially Loudwinner in his recent affairs. But Exotic is not one to be underestimated. I think Exotic has been very, very good, very, very solid, very versatile as a player. So this should be very interesting.
You shouldn't underestimate Loudwinner either, though.
I shouldn't, because he can be good when given the proper prep and given the proper pressure. So
during the week I was supposed to face Penter, I did test games with Sundays and Loudwinner. I was able to beat Sundays quite a few times. I was never able to beat Loudwinner, though.
Ooh, so he's a scary player. But yeah, comparing these two, though, I still think Exotic's a better player, so I might go with Exotic on this one. But I will not be surprised if Loudwinner wins. Just bring something.
Oh, you better
funny.
not be surprised when he wins.
Just bring something funny. Alright, next.
Well, I'll show you something funny.
Alright, the pick.
Well, I won't. He might. Maybe. I don't know what he's bringing. He doesn't know yet.
Pick. What does Pick say?
The pick disagrees with you again.
Oh, well, it's not going for you. It's rooting for you, though. Should be a good thing. Next up is Dunox versus Twinkie in Monotype. And, this one's very curious again. Dunox, that's doing alright for himself in Monotype, I think. Yeah, 2-3. 2-3, yes, but he's 2-1 in Monotype, so that's good. And Twinkie 3-4 in Monotype, but has played all weeks. Although comparing these two, I would say Dunox is the better player. So I will go for Dunox on this one.
Good.
And what does Pick say?
The pick disagrees with you even more.
It disagrees with me? Not disagrees? It disagrees? Oh, God. Even worse.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Alright, so it's picking Twinkie. Good. Alright, time for you.
Yes, let's see how many of these the pick disagreed with you on.
8 out of 10, bro. 8 out of 10.
Oh my.
Literally, the only thing.
No, that's false. Actually, how did you count that?
Oh, sorry. 7 out of 10. Sorry.
That is still false.
6 out of 10.
I'm pretty sure that is the correct answer. Yes.
3/5 of the predicts. The pick disagrees with me.
It agreed with you on JJ, Maverick, Drew, and Fellyburn. Disagreed with you on the rest.
Funny. Well, time for you to join in the fight, Pokeyard, because you got the other games now to predict. The other matchup that is decided: the Phantom Trout versus the Sunny Shore Snorlaxes. This should be fun. First off, SVOU, we got 3 versus Ineffable. Last week did not
3D.
The last week did not do any favors for Ineffable, I'll be honest. But Ineffable has shown in the past, I will give credit to Ineffable, they have shown in the past that they are very, very good. 4-1, to be exact. They actually have a 4-1 record. They beat JJ, Beleth, and Aragon. Well, Aragon, in case it was DOU. But for Ineffable, actually, he's 3-0 in OU. That's fun.
Oh my god.
That seems...
What's 3D's record?
3D's record is currently 4-2, and he's played OU consistently.
Well, that's still pretty damn nice.
Hell,
that's more wins than Ineffable in OU, even though Ineffable technically has the better record.
3-0 versus 4-2 in OU, yeah. But I will say, yes, I will agree with you in saying that 3D is the better player between these two. I think 3D has got what it takes more. I think 3D has got packed the more punch in OU rather than Ineffable. So I'm going with 3D.
Okay.
And what does Pick say?
The pick agrees with us this time.
Finally.
It's more inclined to agree with me than you, I think.
Shit. SVOU, we got Botsy versus Mimikyu Stardust. This matchup is much more even than a lot of people give it credit for. Now, granted, yes, Mimikyu Stardust is 2-4. Like, I get it.
And what's Botsy's record?
Botsy is 4-2. Literally the inverse.
Botsy.
Yeah, I get it. I get it. Like, Mimikyu Stardust is a lot, has a negative record, but people are kind of underappreciate his plays a lot more. His play style doesn't necessarily net him wins, but he has shown in the past that he has good performances. Botsy just tends to win a lot more, and, took his advantage with his sets a lot more. A lot of people are very, very quick to judge then. So yeah, Botsy to win. Botsy to win.
I agree, and so does the pick.
Wow. Literally the OU games, Pick and I agree. Next up.
Wow, yeah.
SV Ubers, we got 7U982 versus Trade. Wow.
They're bringing out the big guns.
They're bringing out the big gun. This one should be fun. Well, comparing these two... Well, okay. We know 7U982 is the Uber Circuit champion. And also, 7U982 5-2 in Ubers. Very, very nice record for himself.
And Trade has not been playing it, I don't think.
No, he has.
Not this tour, anyway.
No. They have played. They have played a bit. They're just 1-1 right now. They beat Arch9, but they lost to Temp.
Wasn't that an RU?
In RU. But
Then I am right, and you corrected me over nothing.
But you know what?
What I said was that they have not played Ubers this tour.
But you know what?
Oh my God, you're doing it.
I am doing it. As much as everyone and their mother is going for 7U992. I'm gonna be the betting man. Yep, I'm going with Trade on this one. I think personally, I've seen better from Trade in the past, and the Ubers experience and the AG experience, I think will carry over nicely here. Because, yes, they are the versatile player, but I think they're going to carry that Ubers experience to this game. And comparing these two, I think Trade's the better player.
Honestly, well, I am predicting for 7U992. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Trade wins. Trade's very good.
Trade is very good. No one should underestimate Trade, ever.
Also, it seems the pick's inclined to agree with you this time.
Thank God. Alright, next up, the rematch from week 1. Or at least I think it was week 1. Let me check a bit.
Was it?
No, it was week 2.
Sure.
No, it was week 2. Week 2, where Mimi Lucha beat Riche. And now they meet again. Mimi Lucha doing very well for himself, 5-2. And Riche 1-4.
Okay, I think it's pretty clear who we're going for then.
Unfortunately so, yeah. Mimi Lucha doing very, very well for himself, earning himself to be one of the best UU players in this pool. And I think that momentum is going to continue. Mimi Lucha to win.
Yeah, I agree. The pick agrees.
Everyone agrees to go for Mimi Lucha. Next up in SVRU, we got Just Franco versus Crying. This is a fun matchup.
I agree.
This is very close.
But will we agree on who we're predicting? I wonder.
Let's see. Crying is 2-2. Franco is 5-2. Okay. So, Franco, tried and true RU main. Crying, also kind of a tried and true RU main. They're just very good at the lower.
I wouldn't say tried and true RU main. Crying can do many things.
Crying can do many things, but I think RU is just one of their better tiers, I would say.
That is a fair statement.
I would say.
Doesn't make them a tried and true RU main.
Well, it is one of their better tiers, and I feel like they can pilot this tier to the best of their abilities. This one's very close. This one's very, very close. But I think I'm going with Just Franco a little bit. Just a tiny bit. I'm going with Just Franco.
And it seems we're all in agreement this time, too.
Oh boy, if Crying wins. I would not be surprised if Crying wins. I would really not be surprised.
Crying is crying.
Yeah.
Is it ever a surprise if Crying wins?
It's always an expected result if Crying wins. You're like, oh yeah, Crying won. Cool. Next up, Skier Dude 101 versus Stories. They met before in week 2, and Stories won. And Stories is currently 6-1. Skier Dude, not too far behind, 4-3.
That's a little more far behind than you just described.
Who are you picking, huh? Who are you picking?
I think it's pretty obvious who I'm picking.
Yeah, I know it's pretty obvious. Stories, generally the best NU player of this pool. So I don't think it's any shock to a lot of people. And what does the pick say?
Yeah, but the pick says otherwise.
Oh dear, it's being the betting man.
The betting pick.
SVPU, we got Drip Legend versus Druid. Did they met in week 2?
Did they?
They did not. They did not. Oh no, they did. Sorry. Druid beat Drip Legend pretty badly in week 2, and I don't think that story will be any different.
Yeah, funny how you mentioned that when we just predict for a guy, a user called Stories.
It's the stories of a man named Druid. All right, so yeah, Druid wins.
And he's gonna kick Drip Legend's butt.
But will the pick agree?
No, the pick disagrees. The pick is stupid.
The pick is random, Pokehard. We don't call it stupid. We just call it random.
It's stupidly random.
Well, okay. This one, SVLC. We got Stars Amon versus Hacker. A lot of people highlight this game. A lot of people, it's a highlight match. Hacker is 4-2. Stars Amon, though, is on a big boy roll. 5-1.
Wow. Yeah, this was one of the two people who beat Hacker, but Stars Amok beat him cleanly.
Yes, this one was a clean game for Stars Amok to pick up that win very nicely. Will Lightning strike twice? I think it will. I think Stars Amok's got this.
Oh wow. I personally think not, because Hacker's probably gonna, he's gonna do his damnedest this week.
Yeah, Hacker will try to bring his A game here, but to me, I think Stars Amok is clearly the better player.
Wow.
And does pick agree?
The pick says Stars Amok, so it agrees with you, yes.
Alright, next up, DOU, we got Aragon versus the Cheese. This one is a very curious matchup. I think both players are, they've had some highs. But they've also had some real low lows. To me, though, you know what? I'm gonna be crazy here for a bit. Yeah, Aragon's 3-4. Yes, Cheese is 2-3, but they're both kind of similar-ish records. But you know what? I think I'm going with Cheese. On this one.
I think I'm inclined to agree with you, believe it or not.
Don't tell me this is the game that was already played.
Oh
my god, it's the game that was played!
Check you won, baby!
It's the Cheese and 1! Average Say You Enjoyer actually won.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm not sure what I would have picked. So I'm just going to agree with you.
I was going with Cheese, and I had it mapped out in my head that okay, Cheese is gonna win here. But wow, he actually won. We'll review that game next week.
If I odds are I may have gone Cheese if I had some time to actually think about it with you, because I'm pretty high on Cheese, as you know. I'm aware of what he does that wins so many games. And it usually works. And against Aragon, it probably works. And as we can see, it did, in fact, work.
I want to see it. Well, we'll check out this game next week, and we'll get to review it live. And we will get to review it live. Alright. Finally. Oh, right. What did Pick say? What would Pick say?
The pic says it wants a Tago to sit on it.
Again! Twice in a row! Two weeks in a row? Okay. Alright, finally, we got Royal Reloaded versus Madara. This, I think, happened the last time, and Mada lost. Mada lost to a Royal Reloaded, who is 4-2. Mada is 2-3.
Wasn't the matchup, bad that time?
I think the matchup was pretty bad.
Yeah, wasn't it Steel versus Ground?
And Royal won.
Yeah, because Royal had Ground.
Yes. So will Lightning strike twice in this one?
It's mono, so you can never really predict whether Lightning will strike twice or not.
Especially when you're bringing a ground. Like Royal did.
But I do feel Mana is the better player between them. So, assuming the matchup isn't bad this time, I do think Mana should win.
Mono is mono. This is a really tossy-uppy game. In terms of performances, yeah, I would say Mada is the better player, but in terms of the actual games, Royal has been showing a lot more. And, you know, the type advantages.
May I also remind you that Mada was the ASIC Slayer?
He was the ASIC Slayer. I almost forgot. I almost forgot to mention that. But ASIC
Royal
lost
Reloaded
twice.
cannot claim such feats.
ASIC lost. Yeah, ASIC lost twice, and one of them was against Dunox, and one against Mada. Yeah. So Royal Reloaded. I think I'm gonna favor Royal Reloaded, but only slightly. It is still mono.
Really?
It is still
Why's
mono.
that?
I don't know. Maybe it's just, I don't know. Maybe it's because, I could just foresee Royal Reloaded having a better matchup, just like he did last time. So maybe it'll happen again. Who knows? What does Pick say?
The pick agrees with you.
Yeah, the Pick agrees with me a lot. How many times the Pick agrees with me? Friggin' 1, 2, 3, 4.
Well, it's been agreeing with you a lot for this series, but disagreeing with you a lot for my series.
8 out of 10, I think. Wow. Okay.
Wow, 8 out of 10 for this series?
Yeah.
Let's see. 1, 2, 3 out of 10. Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so I guess +2 profit from the last matchup. Just 6 out of 10, 8 out of 10. Anyway, this video's gone on far too long. Thank you everyone so much for watching. Please like this video, leave a comment, subscribe, click the notification bell so you won't miss a video once it comes out. Next week, it is time to whittle down these 4 teams to 2 and to see who makes it to the grand finals.
And then see who gets the win.
Oh boy. This should be fun. Thank you all so much.
Because the glory is what everyone is after, yes.
The glory, the fame, the power to end the apocalypse. Anyway, thank you all for watching. This has been Mikoy, signing out.
Adios.